All right, Shalom family.
Shalom.
Shalom.
First, as always, I want to give all praise, glory, and honor to the Most High God, Yahweh, in the name of His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai. This is Mikael of the Rise of the Chosen family, Salakia.
This is Brother Yakwayam from Rise of the Chosen. Worcester.
Brother Shofar.
Brother Elazar.
We're here to have a discussion about Israel's relationship to the strangers and Gentiles. A lot of us we come to the truth knowing that we are Israelites and not heathen or Gentiles, and we learn the importance of brotherhood, where we're supposed to love the people of our own nations, our own flesh and blood. But it's controversial about how our relationship be to the other nations, people that aren't Israelites, like the Chinese, the white man, the African. How do we deal with them according to the scriptures? So it's a controversial subject, so we're going to do our best to try to get a biblical understanding of how we should deal with people of presumptuously of other nations. Presumption, because a lot of us cannot trace our heritage all the way back to the biblical times. So we just do the best we can by testing each other's spirit and how we resonate according to the scriptures. So get into this. I want to start off with 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 15. Get into this lesson.
This is the book of 2 Timothy.
Yes, okay.
Chapter 2, verse 15. Let me know when you guys are there.
Say con.
Say con.
All right.
Ready, guys?
Ready.
This is the book of 2 Timothy, chapter 2, verse 15. Study to show thyself approved unto God, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth.
Constance, this is a very important passage to study to show thyself approved before the Most High. So we see a lot of camps bringing different things out concerning the strangers, but we have a job as students of the scriptures to verify what's being brought out is true and that it lines up with scriptures. So we can't just take people's word for it and go off without put it to the test to see if it holds up to the word of the Most High. So we need to learn how to study for ourselves. And it says rightly dividing the word of truth. So we know we love to promote bringing precepts, but it's also important to rightly divide the precepts.
Sorry.
So it's good. So are we rightly applying the precepts to get the correct understanding or meaning of the scripture? So it's important to rightly divide the word of truth. Next, I want to go to Sirach chapter 5, verse 15.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 5, verse 15.
Yeah. All right. The book of Sirach, Ecclesiasticus, chapter 5, verse 15. Be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or is small.
So we need to have a well-rounded understanding of the scriptures from Genesis to Revelation. So be not ignorant. Everything in the scriptures is important, from the least thing to the greatest thing.
Con.
So the word of God is important. So we're going to look into the strangers, starting from the Old Testament, and if time allows, try to work our ways into the New Testament, of identifying them and how we're supposed to treat them according to the scriptures. So one of the first passages we're going to start with is Exodus chapter 12, starting verse 37.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 12, verse 37. Got it, guys? And the children of Israel journeyed from Ramesses to Succoth, about 600,000 on foot.
So this is starting where the Israelites were leaving Egypt then. So it's saying there was about 600,000 men that was counted among the Israelites leaving Egypt. 600,000. Continue.
That were men beside children, and a mixed multitude.
And the what?
And a mixed multitude went up also with them, and flocks and herds, even very much cattle.
So it says, besides the Israelite men and women that left Egypt, a great multitude also went along, came out of Egypt, and followed the Israelites. So for those of you that don't know, everybody that left Egypt was not just the Israelites, but people from the other nations left Egypt with the Israelites as well.
As mixed, interwoven, knitted material, mixture, mixed people, mixed company.
I was going to bring out some clarification then.
Yeah, on the mix.
On the word mixed.
Because, Salakia, because some people would say that the mixed multitude they're talking about would include women and children or elderly people, you know what I'm saying? Or even the animals could be considered, part of the mixed multitude.
Animals.
So bring it, yeah.
I mean, but it says
Like multitude just means a number. You know
but it says
what I'm
along with the flocks, herds, and much cattle. So this is talking about people.
Yeah.
saying? So yeah, I just want to clarify because it's
Okay, I got to
The
appreciate that. Let's
second
go
definition says mixture, mixed people, mixed company.
Yeah.
So let's go to Leviticus 24:10 for more clarity.
Okay. I got that.
Yeah, I mean, we're not here to play word games or semantics. We're here to thus says the Lord.
Huh.
24.
24 starts verse 10.
Verse 10. Everybody get this in Khan?
Con.
This is the book of Leviticus chapter 24 and verse 10.
Mhm.
And the son of an Israelitish woman whose father was an Egyptian
Oh.
went out among the children of Israel, and this son of the Israelitish woman and a man of Israel strove together in the camp.
I mean, so that shows that there was other nations that sojourned with from Israel in the wilderness.
God.
So it's important to bring up multiple witnesses to prove a point, because we know that those scriptures is a private interpretation.
God. Let me see. Hold on a second.
So there were some people, not Israelites, that.
That's the next multitude.
That's the mixed multitude, yeah.
Yes.
Great verse.
So that was other nations then.
So there'll be no confusion, because I know people want to have different definitions, because they want to twist and maneuver the words to mean what they mean instead of what the Most High means.
Con.
So it's important to have a proper discernment when studying the scriptures. Because like it says, our thoughts are not like the Most High's thoughts. Our ways are not like the Most High's ways.
God.
So let's look at Leviticus 20, verse 2. So we're just looking at different passages to identify strangers.
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 20, verse 2. Again, thou shalt say to the children of Israel, whosoever he be of the children of Israel, or of the strangers that sojourn in Israel, that giveth any of his seed unto Molech, he shall surely be put to death. The people of the land shall stone him with stones.
So this is a command that the Most High gave to the Israelites and the strangers that sojourn with Israelites. Now there's one thing where people be saying that the Bible is only for Israel. But here in this example, this is a command to the Israelites and to the strangers. So some of these things in the Bible is for the other nations as well, just not Israelites.
So like, yeah. Also, you have a lot of camps that say that this Bible is not for you, but they themselves are being hypocrites when they say, when it's all said and done, everyone's going to have to obey the will of the Lord anyway.
Mm-hmm.
That's hypocrisy. So why Why can't they follow the Lord now?
And also, the Bible's only for Israelites, then we can't get mad at either might guns down an Israelite person or does something wrong then, because the Bible wasn't for them then.
Sorry, I keep having to use the bathroom.
All right, let's look at Leviticus 25. Start at verse 39.
Want to read that now?
I got it. This is when you got everybody say Con?
Con.
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 25, starting at verse 39.
Let's start at verse 35.
35. And if thy brother be waxen poor and fallen in decay with thee, then thou shalt relieve him. Yea, though he be a stranger,
Though he be a what?
though he be a stranger or a sojourner, that he may live with thee.
Now this says that an Israelite brother could be considered a stranger too in this instance.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean that everywhere that the stranger is talking about an Israelite brother. Because see people point to this passage and say, see, he says Israelite brother could be a stranger. That means that all the strangers are Israelites just dwelling in different lots, or like you're a Reubenite dwelling in the land of Judah, or in Gad's land you're a stranger. But there's different contexts. We can't do the one precept fits all precepts. There's different contexts. So sometimes the Israelite could be referred to as a stranger. And this is an exception here in Leviticus 25:35. But now we're going to skip down to verse 39 and show a different context of stranger. See if an Israelite fits the context in these verses coming up.
God, this is the book of Leviticus chapter 25 verse 39. And if thy brother that dwelleth by thee be waxen poor, and be sold unto thee, thou shalt not compel him to serve as a bondservant.
So you can't put your Israelite brother in slavery then. They become poor and need help. So that's law. You cannot put your Israelite brother in slavery.
Continue.
Yes.
But as an hired servant and as a sojourner, he shall be with thee, and shall serve thee unto the year of Jubilee.
So you have to give your Israelite brother a job then, make him a hired servant or employee then to work for you. So there's a difference between employee and being a slave.
God.
And he has a release date too, like until the year of Jubilee, which is every 49 or 50 years. Jubilee is like 49 or 50. Well, we'll look into it, come back into it. Keep going.
And verse 41, and then shall he depart from thee, both he and his children with him, and shall return unto his own family, and unto the possession of his fathers shall he return.
Okay, I think it's like 7 years he's talking about, referring to be like a servant then, or employee. I think it was like 7 years.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Like the year of Jubilee is different for like a festival or something like that.
Oh, okay, so there's different Jubilees then?
Yeah.
Okay, got it. All right, let's keep going.
All right.
Take it to 46.
Verse 42. For there are my servants which I brought forth out of the land of Egypt. They shall not be sold as bondmen.
So the Most High brought the Israelites out of slavery, so they shouldn't be put back in and put back into slavery again.
Though thou shalt not rule over him with rigor, but shalt fear thy God. Both thy bondmen and thy bondmaids, which thou shalt have, shall be of the heathen that are round about you. Of them shall ye buy bondmen and bondmaids.
So the heathen, the other nations, you can buy them, trade them like stock, and use them as slaves.
Moreover, of the children of the strangers that do sojourn among you, of them shall ye buy, and of their families that are with you, which they begat in your land, and they shall be your possession.
So is this talk about the strangers in verse 45? Is this talk about referring to the Israelite people
No.
as strangers or other nations?
The other nations. Because they call them heathen. So we may have been, Israelites may have been called strangers or sojourners,
Mhm.
but Israelites are never called heathen.
Con. So it shows the two different contexts of strangers. And so most of the time, it's talking about other nations, we're talking about strangers. There's a few exceptions saying that the strangers and Israelite brother.
Okay. And the rules definitely apply. You
Right.
can't sell an Israelite brother. You can hire him,
Mm-hmm.
but you don't own him.
Right.
And a heathen you can own. Because if they have children, then children become your possession as well.
Possession well. Does this make sense to everybody?
Mhm.
Any questions? All right, Con, all praise.
Well, I do have one question.
Okay, sure.
In that chapter, I'm not sure which chapter it is, where it talks about the order of taking care of the bondmen and bondwomen. Are they also talking about the heathens? There's that one chapter, I don't know if it's in Exodus.
About how to take care of them?
Yeah, or when to let them go, or when the master's supposed to be killed if he's harming them. Is that related more to when they were in Egypt, or is it when it's now related to the heathens?
We'll see if we can find that precept. So we can,
Let me look at that chapter.
so we can,
Go back to that.
should we finish 46?
Yeah, finish at 46.
So we'll continue with 46 while you look that up, okay? And ye shall take them as an inheritance for your children after you, to inherit them for a possession. They shall be your bondmen forever. But over your brethren, the children of Israel, ye shall not rule one over another with rigor.
Con. So you can keep the heathen forever then and pass them down as inheritance. But the Israelites, you can only keep them until Jubilee, till the time of release. Then.
And you only can do it if they're waxing poor and they need a job.
Right, so it's pretty much giving them a job, making them employed. Give them the company shirt, say, company jack, say, here, you're part of the team.
And you couldn't like mistreat them, you know. You couldn't like
You have to pay them, you
yeah,
have to.
and you couldn't like make them do like exorbitantly hard work. You know what I'm saying? Like like work that could risk their life. That's what it means, serve with rigor. You know, you couldn't have them climb like a mountain without no security. You know,
No harm, safety harness.
to go get a goat or something. You know, you couldn't do that. Like that goat's gonna have to eat it.
Okay,
I found it. So this answers my question. Exodus 21 and 2.
Go ahead and bring it out.
It says, if thou buy an Hebrew servant, 6 years he shall serve, and in the 7th he shall go out free for nothing.
the water, so 7 years.
So
Yeah.
7 years of the
And
Jubilee.
so then
Right.
Jehoshaphat put this chapter in order on how the person was supposed to treat the Hebrew servant. And so it does not indicate heathen in this chapter.
What is it, Exodus what?
21, the whole chapter is dedicated to how
Or
they're
treat
supposed to
Israelite.
be treated, the Hebrew Israelite servant.
So for further notice, if you want to see how to treat a Hebrew servant, you should refer to Exodus chapter 21, okay? So we're not going to read the whole chapter for you, so you have to look it up on your own time.
Khan,
God, thank you for that,
you're welcome.
Sister Shalomar.
All right, now let's look at Numbers 151.
Book of Numbers. One and one.
51.
Book of Numbers, chapter 1, verse 51.
Bring it out.
And when the tabernacle setteth forward, the Levites shall take it down. And when the tabernacle is to be pitched, the Levites shall set it up. And the stranger that cometh nigh shall be put to death.
Consul, what's the tabernacle?
Tabernacle was the tent where it was the holy place and the most holiest place.
Right.
Where-
Sacrifices.
Where they did the sacrifices, the washing of the hands, the washing of the sins, the table of showbread, and the Ark of the Covenant.
Right, so before Solomon's temple, the Israelites was using the
The
tabernacles,
tabernacle,
which was
which
easily
was
taken up and taken down and moved to whatever location.
Portable.
Portable.
I think,
yeah, it was a portable temple. In other words,
I got a copy of it. Yeah.
because the Most High instructed Moses to.
The tabernacle.
The tabernacle.
Yeah.
There we go. Right here. So I had it around so I could take a look at it.
Right. So that's interesting. So this command says, now the tabernacle is where the Israelites congregated at different set times then. But it says that the stranger that came near the tabernacle should be put to death.
Because there were Israelites that could come near the tent, but they brought us their sacrifice, the animals that were sacrificed for their household for the sins, right?
Right.
They would bring it to the Levitical priest, but the Israelites couldn't go in through that gate because that was the Levitical priest. Aaron and his sons were in charge of being inside and taking
In the
care
holy
of that,
place and the most holy.
in the holy place and the most holy place.
Right, but it says the strangers can't
The
even come near.
strangers can't even come near the tabernacle. Wow,
That's the
that was something revealing to me.
So these aren't talking about the Israelite foreigners, these strangers, these are clearly other nations. Yeah, I think it says again in Numbers 3:38.
Yeah, what is it?
Let's go ahead and bring it out, Numbers 3:38.
This is the book of Numbers, chapter 3, verse 38. But those that encamp before the tabernacle toward the east, even before the tabernacle of the congregation eastward, shall be Moses and Aaron and his sons, keeping the charge of the sanctuary for the charge of the children of Israel. And the stranger that cometh nigh shall be put to death.
Come.
This is a new revelation for me, man.
And that's why it's important to teach all nations so they know what their place is, what the guidelines is for them also in relation to the Israelites. So I mean, so the Bible's for all mankind, the Word of God is.
And there's commandments for each.
Yes. Exactly.
The Lord, would it make sense for the Lord to be in order have an order just for Israel? You know, so especially he's not going to he's not going to give us all these nations to serve us, and he's not going to have a way for us to treat them and a way for them to they're going to have order. You understand?
Right.
Yeah.
So the Lord is not going to leave that up to us when he's done everything else. He doesn't leave anything to chance. He's perfect in every way. So
Hallelujah.
Yes.
even his instructions to the heathen is perfect.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So the order can be maintained.
And it was important for the Most High to have rules and structure for the heathens too, because they was dwelling with the Israelites. They came from Egypt too, so for them to know what they could do and what they couldn't do.
For theirs and our protection.
Yes.
You know? I mean, because as long as we kept the laws, so we would not be influenced by them. But they dwelt among us, so we were influenced because we put their customs above our own. We thought that what the Lord had for us was too strict, you know. But these captivities and these punishments are showing us that we were better off just listening to begin with.
All right, let's look at Deuteronomy chapter 14 and 21.
14 and 21 again?
Yes.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 14, verse 21. Ye shall not eat of anything that dieth of itself, that shall give it,
Thou.
thou shalt give it unto the stranger that is in thy gates, that he may eat it, or thou mayest sell it unto an alien. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy power. Thou shalt not see a kid in his mother's milk.
So would this stranger be an Israelite foreigner then?
God,
That you give roadkill to?
God.
No.
Sound like a heathen then.
Yeah.
Wow.
Also, not just that, we couldn't eat a baby animal that was still nursing from its mother's milk. So,
Gone.
So anything that dieth of itself, so something that died, and you find
Find a day you didn't kill him.
you didn't kill it.
yeah, that of old age.
So in order, like, but were these abominable animals? No, that's the thing.
We never had animals.
No, we didn't have anything
We didn't
abominable.
keep those
but
type of animals.
We didn't keep those because we're not allowed to touch these
Right.
animals. So let's say they found a dead fowl. You know what I mean? We're not allowed to eat that dead fowl. We can give it to the stranger, right?
Yeah.
You can eat that if you want.
And you can even sell it too.
And it's like,
You know?
but I can't sell it to my own peoples.
Right.
Whoa.
That's weird.
That's order. You know.
Wow.
That's crazy.
But he gave the reason why though. The
Yeah.
Lord doesn't do anything without a reason. He said we are holy people. So therefore, he's made us differently. That's why they were able to eat. They're able to eat undefiled foods and not suffer the same punishment or the same sicknesses that we would suffer.
Oh, that makes sense. So if they eat pork, it's all right, but we're not supposed to because God has set a different
Well, then they're not
law
supposed to
for
eat
us.
pork. To me, pork unclogs white people's arteries and Asian people's arteries too. But,
Okay.
but it's like we suffer more from eating pork than the
The
other
suffering.
nations.
Okay.
Like we look at the disease and health control statistics, Israelites are usually blacks and then Hispanics are leading in heart
Yep.
attacks
Disease.
and diseases.
Obviously.
So everybody suffer, but we suffer even more because of the vibrations from the curses. All right, let's look at another interesting passage.
Mm-hmm.
Deuteronomy 23:19.
23:19.
Yes. And that's why it's always important to start from the beginning, trying to get a biblical understanding of anything. You should always start from the beginning instead of rushing to the New Testament. Because you're not going to get this depth of this kind of information in your Christian church at all.
Yeah.
Zero.
So it's important to start from the
See, the
beginning.
temple made easier for me, like when we talk about a stranger gets near that temple, another heathen, and they're gonna be put to death. That's why it made sense, like, all right, because there were Israelites that were going near the tabernacle
offerings and
to do the offerings to give them to the priests, and they weren't in that they're not in that
Holy
in that,
place.
yeah, but they're outside. That's talking about
The
if
courtyard.
another nation comes near the tabernacle, not through the gates, near, he's gonna be
Louis.
put to death.
Are you
Right.
scribing?
He's gonna be put to death. So that's and another thing that's been helping me because I've been reading at least a couple of chapters going back from the beginning, and I'm almost done with the books of Exodus. So that helped me out understand that. So yeah, that's the good point that you made there. We just don't want to jump to the New Testament because the New Testament talks about the Old Testament, which some of us won't understand if we just stay stuck in the New Testament.
God.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 23, verse 19. Thou shalt not lend upon usury to thy brother, usury of money, usury of victuals, usury of anything that is lent upon usury.
So question, what is unusual?
Interest.
Interest, right?
God, so when we loan our brothers money, people of our own nation, are part of Israel, we're not supposed to ask for interest or charge them interest when we loan them.
That's a good one. Yeah, because sometimes I got friends that would be like, yo, if you give me, let me borrow $30, I'll give you $40. I'm like, nah, I'll give you the 30, you give me back the 30. It doesn't feel right to lend my own brother money and then charge him interest. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Esau said, heck no, I want that.
But the banks and Esau, you go to them and like, oh, I give you a 10% interest charge, and I'm like, nah, man. Like,
Salakia.
I'm about to charge them interest.
Point in fact, the Jewish people, they base a lot of the banking system today based on that biblical law, because they consider us to be the other. They consider everybody else to be the other nation.
Boy.
Oh, and
So
then they're the chosen
and
ones.
that they're the chosen people. So they use that as because they set up the majority of the banking systems today. You know, so that's why the banks charge interest just to hold your money.
They don't know.
So they pervert even that law. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And it's also said that our people are today at such a low vibration that you can't lend money to your brother or sister, because 9 out of 10 times, no, forget that, 10 out of 10 times never get the money back.
It's a 9.9.
No.
Give that 1%.
They put a 5 on it.
Put that .1 out there. You know?
Yeah.
So I fall in that category. I pay back my debts.
Because our people are so wicked. They when you love the money, they think that's just a gift, and they're going to blow it on something stupid like Jordans, or trick it off at a strip club or something, and then get mad at you when you ask for your money back.
Yeah.
Con.
Man, I remember when I was in the world, I would lend money for a weed. And I'll never get that money back from that person.
They're going to get the weed, roll it up.
Yeah. Oh, man.
I returned it to the air.
Oh, man.
Alright, so we're reading 20?
Yes.
Oh yeah, 20. Yeah.
Verse 20. Unto a stranger thou mayest lend upon usury, but unto thy brother thou shalt not lend upon usury, that the Lord thy power may bless thee in all that thou settest thine hand to in the land whither thou goest to possess it.
Hallelujah.
So a stranger, we can charge interest, but to your brother, you cannot.
Wow.
If we was if our people was righteous like we were supposed to be, then we wouldn't have to depend on checking cash places or these predatory loan places to set up get money for businesses or cars or something. We could just depend on each other and keep the money cycling in our community. But because we are wicked and we can't trust each other, we have to go to the other nations to get them set up for see if we get set up for businesses or what we need then.
Be a different community,
Right.
different world.
I think I got a precept in Psalms 37.
Interest to other nations. I'm about to open a loan company.
I mean,
Tú estás bien, Popeye. Hey,
yeah, this is
interest on you, man.
You good. Yo, how come you get interested? Yo, bring that Deuteronomy 14:23, man.
Pay me the 20 later. You pay me 60, man.
This is Psalms 37:21. It says, "The wicked borroweth and payeth not again, but the righteous showeth mercy and giveth."
Wow.
So you borrow money, don't pay again, you're wicked according to the Most High. And you make it bad for your
Psalms
other brothers.
27:31.
37:21.
Right.
37.
37:21. I thought you were going to tell him to get a precept.
You got a precept for that one? Oh, it was just
37:21.
Mhm.
37, well, and
Right.
what book? Deuteronomy?
Psalms.
Psalms. 37:21.
Yeah, so it's sad you can't trust your own mom to loan her money because that's how wicked our people are. You might not get it back, so.
You fell into that mistake, man.
He's like, I don't know about that.
I mean, if we practice brotherhood the way the scripture says, we could save
He's so different.
so much money because you don't know, there's billions of dollars getting thrown away in our communities from interest, for paying back interest from these other nations.
How do you guys know all this stuff?
Clip.
Huh?
We had glass right now.
Yeah.
You hang around us, you'll get it
You'll
too.
be
like
you'll
that.
be just like that too.
He'll call you sometime, as soon as
You
he's
get
done.
that fire in your belly. You know what I'm saying?
I'm doing good, doing good. So,
It's in there. Every question you could ever think of asking, the answer is in there. It's
yeah, I was about to say, we
more than one
missed.
witness. You know.
Really?
Yes.
That's how I got
You're
into
gonna
it,
like the new
'cause
place too.
I had a lot of questions I would never answer,
Yeah,
and in one day, Israelite.
all right,
answered
many
every
blessings,
question I
brother.
ever had. Which just made me want to ask more. I was like,
Yeah,
I
I
gotta,
watch you,
I
I
gotta,
watch you.
I gotta get in on this, you know?
Right.
Shalom.
Brother,
So go ahead.
the abbreviation for BIBLE, can you share with the sister?
Basic instructions before leaving Earth.
The Bible.
Yeah.
All your answers are gonna be right here.
Yeah.
Thank you, brother, I appreciate that.
Yes, sir, the Christian church won't show you how to use the Bible at all.
They have no idea how to.
No. They do more like testimonies about their own life and things about work that makes no sense.
They tell you not to follow the law, but what does it say? This is the book of the law.
The
Hallelujah.
commandments endure forever.
Joshua 1 and 8.
You also gotta know
the
that.
law should not depart.
Shalaki, you also gotta know it's all a money scandal. It's all about making money. It's a hustle.
Oh, yeah.
So when you ask them a question, they don't like when you ask them questions because they feel like they're the ones that's supposed to know, so you're supposed to listen to them.
Con,
So when you ask them a question, it's like it sort of trembles them. Cause like, wait, what? You ask him, wait, why you allowing? Why do you put the LGBT flag in the scripture says in Leviticus 20:13 that you should put a homosexual to death? Then what happens? They don't like that because it's messing up their hustle, you know, deceiving the people.
I seen that one time outside of a church in Worcester. There was a gay flag outside of it. I was like,
And it's crazy because there's a story with this guy, and just so we don't go off topic real quick, where he grabbed that, you know, it was in a different state where he grabbed a flag that he seen in the church, he burnt it, he got arrested, and he got sentenced to 15 years in jail.
oh my god.
15 years in jail.
They call it a hate crime.
And they call it a hate crime, while other people do even more.
Burn the flag, American flag.
You know, you burn it, you know, and you get like a slap in the
Wow.
wrist, you know what I mean? Or you got Esau who got all these charges and boom.
The most they can get you for is
Yeah.
lighting a fire at a
You got
party.
this the white kid, that white rich kid who got caught raping a woman right behind a dumpster, and he only got 6 months.
And he admitted to
jail
it,
time.
which is
And he
crazy.
admitted to it, yeah, like yeah, but my
He
dad's
was
gonna
caught
get me
red-handed
away.
and admitted to
Guess
it.
what? Daddy has money and all of that, and
And,
it's,
That's what I mean.
probation. But let's get back to the.
All right, so this making sense so far then?
yes, thank you.
All praises. Let's look at Deuteronomy 24, starting verse 14.
Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 24, verse 13. Can I get a con when you get there?
We're starting at 14.
14, Salakia.
Con.
24 and 14.
Yes.
Con.
Come.
Go ahead.
We're at 5:30 right now.
Okay.
Alright, the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 24, verse 14. Thou shalt not oppress an hired servant that is poor and needy, whether he be of thy brethren, or of thy strangers that are in thy land within thy gates.
Okay.
Wow, okay.
Agree?
Keep going, yeah.
At his day thou shalt give him his hire, neither shall the sun go down upon it, for he is poor.
Wait, what say should pay him every 2 weeks?
For he is poor. At his day thou shalt give him his hire, neither shall the sun go down upon it, for he is poor, and setteth his heart upon it, lest he cry against thee unto the Lord, and it be sin unto thee.
So you should be paid after you do the job that day, then not once a month, every other week, or every week, but you should be paid for the day's work the same day then.
Like sometimes Esau over here can withdraw you from like getting that money. Like sometimes you I've had certain cases where I work for certain like Esau, and he's withheld my money for me, you know.
Mm-hmm. and you need it so you can pay your rent, or
Yeah.
you're stressed out, you got car payments, insurance, groceries.
You tell them, oh, but you tell them, you go to them, I did your job, and they tell you, no, the contract, the deal, just,
Wait till next week. Go to the cash advance place.
Exactly, or they'll mess up when you check, and they'll be like, well, we're gonna have to wait till the next pay period, which some people get paid on a bi-weekly pay period. And they shortchange you on 20 hours, let's say, and I'm like, hey, I'm missing 20 hours. Okay, yeah, we made the mistake, but you're gonna have, we'll add that to you on the next pay period. When those 20 hours make a difference on the money that you need to pay your rent or whatever expenses that you have.
like
And
it's,
you're stressed. You're
Like,
stressed out.
and that could stress you out. Oh, I gotta wait another 2 weeks to get this. Like, you should be paying my money now.
Yeah, learn how to track your money system.
Oh, well, that's
That's
the
how
way.
they say.
They'll excuse. Oh, that's the way the payroll system works. But you guys messed up.
Yeah, and they tell you learn how to spend your money wisely. And
Like-
keep an eye on your account and that.
Yeah.
like for example, me, there was a day I got off from work early, and they told me, oh, you know, I see you getting off early, you know, can you go to another like store, because they need help. And so I went there, I drove, which I didn't have to, I could have said no, but you know, let me just get that extra, my check still seemed the same, you know.
All right, let's keep going.
Keep reading.
Yes.
Verse 16. The father shall be not put to death for the children, neither shall the children be put to death for the fathers. Every man shall be put to death for his own sin. Thou shalt not pervert the judgment of the stranger, nor of the fatherless, nor take a widow's raiment to pledge.
So that's important too. So we shouldn't be biased and pervert the judgment of strangers. So we don't do in our system when we rule over our enemies. We're not going to do to them like they did to us in their court systems. Or many of our brothers and sisters have been thrown in jail for false charges or accounts. Because every day you see a Israelite brother getting out of jail that did like 20, 30 years for a crime he did not commit. So the Bible commands us not to pervert the judgment of strangers or the poor. So gotta be fair and biased, not like America is to us. Continue.
18. But thou shalt remember that thou wast a bondman in Egypt, and the Lord thy Elohim redeemed thee thence. Therefore I command thee to do this thing. When thou cuttest down thine harvest in thy field, and hast forgot a sheaf in the field, thou shalt not go again to fetch it. It shall be for the stranger, for the fatherless, and for the widow, that the Lord thy God may bless thee in all the work of thine hands. When thou beatest thine olive tree, thou shalt not go over the boughs again. It shall be for the stranger, for the fatherless, and for the widow. When thou gatherest the grapes of thy vineyard, thou shalt not glean it afterwards. It shall be for the stranger, for the fatherless, and for the widow. And thou shalt remember that thou wast a bondman in the land of Egypt. Therefore I command thee to do this thing.
So you guys get those last passages then? So Most High created a welfare system. So it was a blessing to be in the gates of Israel then, because nobody starved. Most High taught him Israel to look out for everybody that's willing to sojourn with them.
Thou shalt not glean it. That means just leave some in there, right?
Exactly.
Not to take everything.
Whether it's grain, olives, or grapes, you're supposed to leave part of your harvest for the strangers and less fortunate. So everybody ate in Israel.
So in other words, don't be greedy, leave some for some of those
Right.
people that need it.
It's not like America where some places will give you fines if you feed the homeless.
That's
And
right.
they rather throw away food than
Mm-hmm.
give it to
That's
the
right.
givers in need.
Right.
I read it. Go ahead, Cyrus. Like, go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah, Salakia, that's another that's the concept of tithes too, you know, so that it could feed, you know what I'm saying, the less fortunate, you know what I'm saying, and the Levitical priesthood, and they were supposed to, the priests are supposed to disseminate whatever was given to them based on need. You know what I'm saying? Where in fact today the priests, what are they doing? They're buying Lear jets, they're living in mansions. You know what I'm saying? They have $1,000 suits on and $700 sneakers. You know, and what are they really doing for the people? They're upkeeping a building that they really don't need to. You know what I'm saying?
So like they said when
While
they
people
throw away
suffering in the
when they
country.
throw away food, their excuse is, oh, we don't want to food poison people. That's their excuse.
Yeah, because the way the laws are set up, then where I guess some places can get the food out, they have to throw it away.
And look at this: if the Rockefellers and all these people, top elites, who are sharing their money, nobody will be poor right now. But they have like banks of like unnecessary money.
Trillions, hundreds of trillions.
Yeah.
It's like Chiquita Banana, I think it is. Chiquita Banana, they bought a mass of land for the bananas that they can't sell. They just leave them up there rot.
Let them run.
Rot, yeah.
I was about to ask you
They
what
leave it
that.
up there to rot.
Sorry. I was about to ask what does that even mean? Because my boss calls me that. So I wanted to know what that meant. Chiquita banana, but apparently it's a type of banana.
This is, I might be a, where's your boss from?
Have him call you by your name, sis.
I don't know. I think he's Puerto Rican now.
But because where I'm from, the Virgin Islands, like a chiquita is like another word for a female.
Chiquita.
Chiquita, yeah.
Chiquita. Small girl.
Yeah.
Chico.
Because my little brother is
Chico, Chiquita, yeah.
my father always called my little brother Chico, which is like the male version of,
Chica.
yeah, Chico or Chica. Yeah, so my little brother's nickname was Chico. So.
Is he tall?
Okay. Huh?
Is he tall?
A bigger,
Yeah.
big.
So-
You guys may know him, Jose from Lincoln Street, from Dollar Tree. He's still a manager from there. No?
No. The crazy part too, there's a lot of dumpsters, like people are now, they're known for doing, there's people who are unfortunate and they do dumpster diving.
Yeah.
So basically they go to these supermarkets where they throw away food that's still good, that there's probably like 2 days before the expiry date. Well, the date, not the expiry date, the date that they can actually sell those foods. Because those foods are still good, like organic, or they throw vegetables that are about to go bad in 2 days.
Eggs,
And,
milk,
yup, they go in there in these dumpsters and they grab all this food, and it's good food, expensive food too, that they're throwing away, and they're getting caught, and now they're putting locks on these dumpsters.
Yeah.
They're putting locks on these dumpsters, so these people, well, people who are in need, who are going, if I had to do that, I'd be like, alright, I'm gonna go to a Whole Foods and go to the dumpster because I know they got good food. Alright, I got this, and there's actually documents, so if you go on YouTube and put dumpster divers or something like that, you can see these people, that's how they live. Like they probably got, they live off the street, or they got houses, or they can't afford food, and they go, and that's the way of doing groceries. Because they still think good things in there, like fruits, vegetables that are still good. And it's just because the consumer date is expired, the food is still good, like, and they go home and they wash all these foods and they have food.
So, Salakia, when you by you saying that, it made me think about. There actually used to be a reality TV show based on that.
Yeah, dumpster
People
diving.
going out getting trash,
Same
and
thing in
saying,
New York.
oh, like you're refurbishing like
Yes.
a fan or a microwave or something like
They
that.
still are.
Yeah, and they still do it. to
Every
this day.
man's trash should be another man.
I think y'all can used to say that all the time too.
Yeah, man, as long
That's
as you find something, I could flip that around, man.
Mhm.
Right
Right.
now, the grocery store, when the vegetables are about to go bad, they still price it, but they price it down almost like 75% down.
Yeah.
So they have an opportunity to give it to those in great need, but instead they're still trying to get their money.
Yeah. Wish they should put something free produce for those who need it.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just, we live in this corporate greed, man.
But they're asking for donations for the food bank at the register.
Yeah, right.
Constantly.
Always.
Mm-hmm.
I never donate, and they give me these looks.
540.
Would you like to donate to this? I said no. They look at me like, you cheap bastard.
I stopped donating money to places like that because when I found out like
What they do with the money.
less than 10% of the money actually goes to the people in need.
Right?
Like 90% of it is to their operating budget, quote unquote operating budget.
Yeah.
Can I pull a quick precept? Isaiah 10:1. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed.
Come.
So all these laws, like a lot of them, they tell you, oh, vice the law. You know, we gotta go. But no, these laws are put in place to pretty much oppress the people, oppress Israel majority of times, because one of these things they want that to keep Israel in sin, and and one of the things that this Babylon does is that they need to hide the truth as much as they can. They invest so much on keeping people hypnotized under those witchcraft spells, under the media, because they don't want this truth going out. Mm-hmm. And every time that Israel always came back to their power, there's no stop. The kingdom that they were at will surely fall, you know? And that's what these people are afraid of. So they push these laws to oppress the people. Mm-hmm. They can say, as Mao, it's the law. Oh, it's the law. You gotta go by the law. No, these laws are not the way to be living, you know? That's why Esau always be pushing. So I just wanted to add that to the table, you know?
543.
All right, let's look at Deuteronomy 10 and start at verse 17. Deuteronomy 10, 17 and 19.
Book of Deuteronomy 10 and 17. Everybody there?
Yes.
Yes, come.
For the Lord your Elohim is Elohim of gods, and the Lord of lords a great Elohim, a mighty and a terrible, which regardeth not persons, nor taketh reward.
Continue.
He doth execute the judgment of the fatherless and widow, and loveth the stranger, and giveth him food and raiment.
What the Lord loved food?
Loveth the stranger, and giveth him food and raiment.
Have you ever seen a camp bring this out before?
No, this is the first time I'm hearing it.
What Bible translation are you reading?
The KJV.
Is it saying in everybody else's KJV?
Wow.
Read verse 19 to kind of seal that in right there.
Alright. Verse 19.
Or take it to 18 then. Yeah, right. Slide.
Love ye therefore the stranger, for ye were strangers in the land of Egypt.
Okay, so
That's telling you it's the real strangers, not Israelites.
yeah.
God.
So let's seal that in by going to 1 John. Show what that love we're talking about is. I'm gonna see on my phone. Pages are kind of stuck together. 1 John, what is it, 5 and 3?
So keep the commandments.
Love, yeah. Love is.
Book of 1 John, chapter 5, verse 3. For this is the love of Yahweh, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous.
God. So that love that you treat these strangers with is to teach them the commandments. You know, so when you hear other camps, when you hear other brothers say that you're not supposed to teach them the commandments, that's not what the Bible says. You know, we're supposed to show love by teaching them the commandments. You know, so yes, we do tell our brothers. We are so quick. They're so quick to tell our brothers. When a Christian comes up to them and say like, "Oh, that's not love. That's not love." It's like love is not a feeling. Yes, you are correct in saying that love is not a feeling according to the Bible. You know what I'm saying? So that love that we're supposed to show our brother, we're supposed to show the heathen too as well. You know what I'm saying? We're supposed to tell them to keep the commandments. Not that being said, does not guarantee them to have the same salvation as us. That does not equate that they have the same salvation as us, because they still have to go through their judgments. But even the scriptures tell you after their punishment is up, they are to what? Be given their own land. You know what I'm saying? Yes, we still going to govern them and make sure they stay straight or narrow, but they're not going to stay in captivity indefinitely. You know?
And they can serve the Most High of Israel, the God of Israel, teaching how to serve the Most High.
So when they say every knee shall bow, every tongue confess, yes, every nation is going to serve the Lord. By the hook or by the, as my mother would say, by the hook or the crook. You know what I'm saying? Whether you do it willingly or they do it forcefully.
Now, this is every nation except Edom, because Edom has their judgment.
You know? But who knows if they're gonna come back or not? You know, so that's a topic for another discussion.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Let's look at
Oh, that
Genesis
topic, right?
12.
Yes, yes. It's like, oh, because
It's lucky, but
I think we gotta shorten on the precepts, so it's 5:47.
I think it's gonna be just part one,
no,
right?
I mean,
Oh, that's part one, okay.
Right.
okay, part
We're just doing the tour. Next, we're gonna go into the prophets and the New Testament.
Ah, okay.
Genesis what,
12:3. Or start at verse 2. So
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 12, verse 2. Ready, guys?
Genesis what? Sorry,
12 and 2.
12 and 2, bring it up.
And I will make of thee a great nation, and I will bless thee, and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing.
So Most High is talking to Abraham. Continue.
And I will bless them that bless thee, and curse him that curseth thee. And in thee shall all families of the earth be blessed.
So it's talking about, does that make sense then?
makes a lot of sense. Thank you.
So the people that want to be a blessing to Israel, Most High is going to bless them, and the people that want to be a curse to Israel, Most High is going to give them back what they put in. He's going to be a curse to them. But through Israel, all nations shall be blessed.
Come
So I got a few more from the tour, and we'll call it quits. Look at Exodus 22:21.
So through Israel's all nations shall be blessed.
Yes. Not
Can you
vexed,
expand on
but
that?
blessed.
Can you expand on, is it, when it says through Israel, are you talking about the 12 tribes?
Yes.
Okay.
I think it's Most High, we look at Psalms 147:19, the Most High gave his word and statutes to Israel. So Israel is supposed to be the gatekeeper that shows people the way to the Most High, not Christianity, not the Catholic Church, but Israel is.
Not Muslims.
Not Islam, not Muhammad,
Okay.
but through Israel, not Islam or these other alphabetic religions.
Buddhists.
All nations be
He dealt
blessed.
with, he did not deal with other nations,
Right.
but the nation of Israel. So through us, through Israel,
Everybody else gets
everybody
blessed,
received the
And get
blessings
the
through
true
us.
knowledge of the Most High.
which tells you that they're not the real ones, because
It would say Christianity there.
everybody's suffering right now,
use this thing. That way you're not
So everybody needs salvation, you know,
right?
Yes.
from this hellhole that is gonna come to this place. But the salvation is gonna
Which
be
is
different.
this place.
How is it?
So like, yeah, so they said we can stay until 6:30, but they shut down really at 6:30, so I say 6:15.
Okay.
We start packing up, we're ready to get out of here.
Alright.
We're just doing 2 more passages and we'll wrap it up for us.
Okay.
We're just doing the tour this week and then we'll go to the prophets and New Testament next part 2.
That's right, yeah.
What's the
we can
title
do
of
that,
this
we can,
study?
Hallelujah.
Is there title to the study?
Yeah, our relationship with dealing with strangers and other nations.
What's this? Exodus what? 22.
Exodus 22, 21.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 22, verse 21. Everybody has it?
Yes.
Thou shalt neither vex a stranger nor oppress him, for ye were strangers in the land of Mizraim, Egypt.
So that's pretty clear.
Very clear.
And 23:9, that's the last one. Exodus 23:9.
Exodus 23 in verse 9. Also, thou shalt not oppress a stranger, for ye know the heart of a stranger, seeing ye were strangers in the land of Egypt. And the word heart meaning, I guess, this I have a thing saying soul, and it says Psalms 94 and 6.
All right, let's look at it.
Let's see what that says.
What was the passage that we just read? I'm sorry.
Exodus 23 and 9.
Okay.
29.
Psalms 94 and 6. And that says, how long shall they utter and speak hard things, and all the workers of iniquity boast themselves? I don't know what that's supposed to mean.
Yeah, keep going.
You say 94 and 6? Salakia, brother? Psalms
Yeah.
94 and 6.
Oh, I'm reading 4, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. They slay the widow and the stranger, and murder the fatherless. How was that supposed to link up with that scripture we just read? Like,
Well, I don't know,
oppress, like oppress.
I mean, I don't know these references. There's like slaying the strangers, maybe.
Oh, let's forget about
Yes,
it.
it's just something to study.
Okay, so you want to give it a close out?
Yeah, so we got these passages, these last two passages I want to speak of says not to vex or oppress a stranger, but also not to mean to let them walk over you either or do you wrong then. If they do you wrong, then you have a reason to react then. So this ain't a Christianity where we turn the other cheek then. But you can't vex or hate a stranger without a cause.
Without cause, yeah. Or punish a person unjustly.
Right, so we want to make that clear too. You know, the Christian church and Dr. King taught us, to let them walk all over us and still love. That's not the Bible.
It's righteous to trouble them that trouble you. Recompense evil.
Oh, you want to bring that up?
I know it.
1 Thessalonians 1:6, I think, or 2 Thessalonians. Yeah, 2 Thessalonians 1:6. Seeing it is a righteous thing with God to recompense tribulation to them that trouble you.
God.
So you don't start the fight, but you do have the God-given right to finish it.
All right. Anybody want to add anything before we shut it down?
Right, so Lord willing, we'll continue this discussion next week. So get your precepts and your questions together as we continue this dialogue.
And just one final thing I want to say, so this lesson is going to be on the biblical understanding about the strangers and the way that we are supposed to deal with them and versus each other. All right, so we're going to say all praises, thanks and glory to the Most High for allowing us to be together, come together to fellowship together. We say Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat
Shabbat Shalom.
This is Rise of the Chosen Worcester. I am Yakwayam.
Shofar.
Brother Mikael.
Brother Elazar,
We say peace to you.
shalom.
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 Kum Sheshwela.